WPH race for 8, stop number 6 here of the 2017-18 season. The stop, the last regular season one that we will have before the Big Players Championship in Salt Lake City next month. It's Marco Chavez and Vic Perez going up against each other. They're buddies. They play at the Los Angeles Athletic Club, and every time we see this matchup, we have to kind of bring this up, that they room together, they travel together, and
well, more than that, Dave, in this matchup, this is for a spot in the Elite Eight in Salt Lake City. They both know it. There could not be more at stake. This is basically, Dave, the one-game playoff after the 162-game regular season to determine who gets that final spot in the playoffs.
Returning serve from Los Angeles, California, also get up for Marco Chavez.
These guys came into this event, Dave, tied in points on the season cup standings. They knew that whoever finished higher in this event was going to take that 8th spot to Salt Lake City.
Well, and it really looked on paper yesterday in that round of 16 that Marcos was going to be easily into that top 8 for Salt Lake City because of the fact that Vic had to play Sean Linning. When Linning had that complete collapse yesterday after one bad call from the referee early on in the tiebreaker, that opened the door for Vic, who was completely defenseless up until that moment. And the writing was on the wall.
But Marcos looked really good yesterday, Dave, against Eric Torres, hitting the ball extremely hard and moving well.
I do believe Marco's a little distracted again due to that looked like an avoidable. But it looked like very distracted last couple tournaments due to some things happening with work back home. And last night I went out to get some ice at 12:30 in the morning, and he was on the phone talking out in the hallway, which isn't a good sign.
You're really doing your leg work getting ready for this match.
I had
tailing guys at 12:30 in the morning. I mean, getting ice.
I was icing my throat, making sure there was no swelling.
Serves 2.
I mean, that is what I call overtime.
That was really all about me, but I just happened to run into him.
I mean, I think the paparazzi even leaves Lindsay Lohan alone once in a while, but not here.
Point.
Vic breaks to the right side there.
1-2.
Marcos goes down the left. Now 1-2. We're going to 15.
This would be the first semifinal appearance for either guy this season. Both guys have been to the semifinals before. Vic has made his points the hard way this season, Dave, taking 9th place 3 times. Very difficult to take 9th. That means you have to win 3 straight matches. He's done that 3 times. He's also made the round of 8 just once before this tournament, finishing 6th in Montana. You remember him losing that very close match to Luis Cordova when he led 24-18 and lost a heartbreaker. And Dave, I put that on my scorecard at the time. I said that half a point that he just lost could come back to haunt him, and it very well could.
It's a great shot right there, really deep, far right, and feathers that right corner perfectly from there.
Out. Yeah. 2 serves 2.
Vic has looked very solid here, Dave, this entire event. Did not allow a point in the qualifier. Yesterday he routed Sean Lenning 15-3 in the first game.
About that, yeah.
Comes back to win the tiebreaker 15-8, I believe, after dropping game number 2.
2 serves 2.
We talked about all the connections these guys have, Dave. Team LAAC, roommates, sparring partners, also Manning Cup teammates. Won the Manning Cup together.
Hold it. Replay.
Wow, that's tough. I mean, it's the first replay that we've heard, and there's been about 4 instances where you could have called them. That one was the least of the 4.
Point.
There's another point now for Chavez.
3 serves 2.
Marco says that Vic Perez is the one who is the travel agent. So when they book flights and hotels, it's Vic that does all of the legwork. Now I guess he's playing his travel agent to see which one of them will get the invite to Salt Lake. Now, does the travel agent book flights?
He still has to.
Okay.
He's professional.
Terrible mishit there from Chavez.
We've seen those mid-court mishits from Chavez in the last couple of events. Very surprising. A guy as skilled as him would make these strange hand airs with his right.
Point.
And that's what Vic can do. Strong. Doesn't seem to have a lot of snap to his swing, but he has got a lot of power.
3-3.
Former star football player, Vic Perez was. Safety, Dave, in LA high school football.
I find it funny that they call that position safety because it's all but safe for either being in the position itself or on the receiving end of a tackle.
Yeah.
3 serves 3.
It's even better when they say it's free safety. Free of what?
Over. 3-3.
Kind of a slow start here, Dave. These guys
3-3.
have not shifted into fifth gear yet. I mean, from the first point of that last match, Dave, Killian Carroll was just everywhere. The first rally, he made 3 or 4 gets. I was refereeing. Couldn't believe it that he was able to get to these shots.
Yeah.
Almost impossible to believe. You have to see it. I really think that.
I did.
Okay.
And it was wonderful. And there's a nice kill shot there, off balance, fade away from Marco Chavez. 43 years, 10 months, oldest player to ever finish in a race for 8 event in the top 6. That's Marco Chavez. And that was in Las Vegas, just a couple of stops back.
He's now 44.
Right. At the time, though.
Right.
Now he is on pace here to be back into that stat, even maybe have us update it, if depending on how this goes.
Right. And he's guaranteed himself no worse than 7th here in this tournament. But I know he's not thinking about that right now. And Dave, this bottom bracket has really opened up for all the players remaining.
3-3.
Daniel Cordova, you'd have to say he's never been to a final, but he might be the favorite to come out of that bottom bracket, to go to the final.
Second serve.
I know that Bob Peters would be really upset to see the imbalance.
Let's hope he doesn't find out. And that's Vic's pet shot. You know it's coming.
What do you call that? I call it a cut corner kill, where he's cutting that left wall, but I know that you have the San Antonio surprise or whatever.
The San Antonio spoiler is the offhand into the left hand into the right corner.
Okay, so that was the strong arm into the left corner, which is the same shot but with your strong hand.
Yeah, but when you use your offhand, it's more of a kind of a stiff flip. Vic's got a full swing into that left corner. He can hit that shot from anywhere, even close to the left side wall somehow.
So it's not like the southpaw stinger or maybe the southpaw slinger. I call it the stiletto.
Everything's a stiletto with you.
Well, it just cuts into that side wall first, and
you find a way to make stiletto work for everything.
Well, I've only made it work for that one thing, but if you think it's everything, that's fine.
These two matched up last year here, Dave, in the round of 16 in what was also a pivotal match in the Salt Lake City invite rankings.
Yeah, you were in his way.
Oh, my goodness. I'm not so sure about this.
Yeah,
but we required our players to become level 1 referees, but I think it's time to step that up because clearly level 1 is not enough. From what you're seeing, you saw a level 5 ref the first match, and now you're seeing a level 1, and you're seeing the difference.
Well,
it would be that guy.
That ball was short.
No.
Oh, now you got.
You can appeal it to the camera if you guys want.
No.
5 serves 3.
No, I don't think so.
Actually, that's not part of the rules.
Let's not go to the camera ever again. It's a very expensive camera.
Point.
And Marcos drives that into the ground.
6-3.
It's a very slow-moving match here. A lot of side outs.
Point.
Now 7-3.
Yeah, Vic sort of breaking away here, Dave. Now Marcos leads Vic 3-2, head-to-head in the race.
7 serves 3.
But if you ask Marcos, Vic beats him every time they play in practice. At 1.7 times in a row. Now, Dave, you know how handballers are. They act like, we just don't play that much.
Second serve.
I had a friend of mine go to LA and play with these guys. He said, I can't believe it. They just never stop playing. 10, 12, 15 games a day. Every day.
Yeah, that's incredible.
I mean, 7s, 2-on-1s, anything you can imagine, they're playing.
3-7.
Marcos is going to have to convert those. Underhand paddle. He goes with a fish shot, hits it into the ground.
3.
Instead of an open hand, maybe pushing it back down that left wall.
Short.
Well, this has been plaguing Marcos for the last 3 events. Unforced errors. And he's made a slew of them already. 7, according to our official statistician.
3-7.
Well, Marcos played incredible yesterday against Eric Torres, who I felt like that was going to be a big change for Eric's career, because when you get past someone that's in the top 8, it's a big deal. But Marcos is kind of a Mount Rushmore type player, and I think a guy like Eric, who has taken down Emmett Peixote before club championships at the Olympic Club,
Second serve.
he has played well against guys like Sean Lenning, taking him to tiebreakers.
Right.
Marcos is just another one that you want to put, little notch you put onto your gun, but it didn't happen. It was the other way around, and it was almost like Marcos was not yet. This time hasn't come for us yet.
Well, I was expecting that match to be close, and it wasn't.
It got a little bit closer in game number 2, but still.
Point.
Oh, that's a nice shot there. Marcos in game number 1 was just brilliant, and we hadn't seen anything like that since that 25-2 win in Las Vegas. Marcos holding the most lopsided playoff match record of the season when he defeated Emmett Peixote 25-2. And it was a match where I felt, at least for the first half, that Emmett was trying. You know, you can say a lot of times that these top players getting 2 points, they weren't totally engaged, but
7 serves 5.
it seemed like there was some engagement there from Peixote, and Marcos played out of his mind.
Yeah, that was an amazing display that Marcos put on that day.
Point.
But Vic has Marcos just totally out of sorts.
Well, these guys played in the first stop of the season, Dave, in Atlanta, round of 16, very close match, which was a big match in keeping Marcos ahead of Vic this entire season. Vic losing that one in a tiebreaker, 15-12. That, to me, Dave, is on my short list of match of the year contenders thus far. Great battle.
Not out. 5 serves 8. Not out.
The use of these side walls by these LA guys, pretty incredible. A lot of upper strength from the shoulders, the power going into these corners. They seem to do it from pretty much anywhere on the court. Very sharp.
Serves 5. Point.
And that's too easy there for Vic.
It was all set up from that good serve.
Right.
It wasn't a crack, but it came out very sharp. Just missing the crack.
Gives you a lot of confidence as a player when you can win these 3-shot rallies.
You know, as an older player yourself, David, I felt this too. I'm 47. You're going to be 41. Marcos, 44.
Hold it.
But going side to side isn't really the tough thing. You know, we've kind of all lost a step. Side to side isn't that bad, but going from a still position forward, taking that step forward, that's become very difficult to do. You see Marcos, when he has a ball in front of him, he seems to be like he's lost a step. Side to side, he's really quick still. And I even consider Marcos as a get artist, only because he's so creative with his hands that if he catches up to the ball, he can do a lot of things with it. But side to side, not too much of an issue even at this age for Marcos. It's just, I can see he's really far behind. When Vic puts a ball in front, he just can't move forward as quick as he used to. That's why these corner kills are so important.
Yeah, they're all in cans. Looks like they opened them and rubbed them, but they're all here. It doesn't look like it doesn't look like they like it's bouncing right. Wait, there's another can right here.
The balls are just cold from that air conditioning up there. Is probably the coldest I've ever felt in my entire life. And I know that you had to put layers on. But down in the club here, it's been very warm. But right where the referee is standing, there's an air conditioner that's just blowing right onto that referee. And that can of handball is very cold. I would assume it's probably 50, 60 degrees.
I would say.
Because I felt them this morning. I picked them up and I thought, man, this is – someone's going to have to warm these things up.
Yeah.
Got 24 hours of sitting right there underneath that air conditioner.
Cold in the booth here, too. Same air conditioning, I think.
Yeah, it's from that same room.
Right. But we've seen guys really on edge here at this tournament, Dave. They know how much this tournament means. You saw last night in that final match of the night. I mean, John Iglesias was just so wired. He was so intense. And Marcos was the same way in that match with Eric Torres. I got there in the second game, and he was chirping and arguing, and I thought, oh, this must be a real, battle. He was up 15-2, 5-3.
Yeah.
But guys are.
Well, we saw what happened with Sean Linning. Got very upset over the correct call from a referee. Unfortunately, the referee broke his cadence. And that's what threw Sean off. But at that moment, Sean was so dominant. It was probably the most dominant play that we've seen all year. He scores 9 points in less than 3 minutes and wins that game number 2. Comes back in game number 3, and he's up 3-2. Referee calls a short and forgets to say second serve. Sean immediately hits another short ball, turns to the referee, who then calls a side out, and Sean's upset.
But the referee also called the score again.
Yeah, he called the score. He didn't say second serve. He just neglected to say it, although he said short, and less than 5 seconds later, Sean's serving and forgets that just happened.
I'm on Sean's side on this one. And
I don't know if a ref can then go and turn around and give him another serve again, a third serve.
The right play there, I think, is a redo of a second serve.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I need to look that one up, but maybe you did. I'd like to find out officially. Nonetheless, the Vic Perez, who was playing Sean Linning, he immediately walked right up. He knew exactly what the score was.
Well, as he should. Yeah.
Referee but see, the referee didn't forget that it was a second serve. Referee called the side out immediately. So the referee knew it was a second serve as well, just didn't state it out loud that it was a second serve.
Well, Dave, you play guys in practice, you call the score, there's an ace, and they don't know the score right after that, 2 seconds later. I mean, that's how some guys are thinking in the court. They're focused on their task at hand.
5 serves, 12.
So I really do think that should have been a replay.
Wouldn't you think the task at hand would be to get that next ball over the line after you just served a short?
Not if you hear that score call again.
I can say I've played as much handball as anybody on the planet.
Yeah.
I have never not known that I just hit a short ball. Never in my entire life. I hit a short. I know it's a short. I know. I'm thinking of now what the next serve is going to be. That's being what I would consider in the zone, thinking of what you're going to do next. You can't have a player hit a short ball and then be upset at the ref because he didn't say second serve. You should know that you just hit a short, right?
I think once you hear that score called again, it really creates amnesia. You're thinking first serve.
And then you turn around to the ref and say, is that second serve or first serve?
No, you just are in your mode to hit a first serve. I think we've exhausted this argument, though.
Not me. I want to keep going. I feel like I got more analogies and useless information.
Another amazing wide corner kill there from Vic, who has just dominated this game. And he's done what you said, Dave. He shot the ball in front of Marcos, and Marcos just has not been able to make that quick first step forward to get to those Vic Perez kills. And
Marcos has looked really sharp from deep in the court, but you can't win tournaments from back there.
I'm going to say
there
short.
It is.
Sorry, Vic.
That was good.
It was a late call. You can video replay if you want.
You can't, though.
Actually can't replay it.
And also, Dave, the rule is there have to be linesmen in order to go to the video replay.
He wants a video replay.
Yeah, we heard that from the ref, who's just about 3 feet away from us.
The serve was good, I thought.
I thought it was good on visual as well, but we can't make that call.
There's no video replay. No, I guess not right now.
Not right now, not ever, actually. And that first game is going to go, I believe. They're going to replay it anyway.
Yes.
You know, in my opinion, I thought that ball was good.
Yeah.
Second serve.
See, now that was the appropriate measure to
take
take
I
there.
understand what's appropriate, but see, they didn't. Ironically, it's the same referee.
No, it's not.
Over.
Well, you could have gone with that.
Yeah.
Would have made my life a lot better.
14-5 again. Replay.
Having a hard time getting this point going. We've had a short serve and attempted video replay. I think a court hinder in the back there, and then that ball hitting Vic.
A broken ball to start it all.
Okay.
Originally, a cold ball at that. And
now
that
another
was short.
Oh,
now we're going to have to retrieve this. That's not an official play, though. A behind the back, flip to the front. That could have been a warning from the ref. Right?
He was within his 10 seconds there.
Okay.
Although between first and second serves, it does not necessarily need to be 10 seconds.
Well, that could be an argument. If it happens between first and second serve, there's a side out.
And now after 6 attempts, we actually have a
side
rally
out.
ending
5-14.
play. Tough to play this ball high off the back wall because the back wall becomes a glass as opposed to the.
Yeah.
There's 3 different types of back wall back there.
2 glass, but 2 different styles of glass.
And then in the middle, in between those 2 styles of glass, you've got this panel board that's about, I'd say, 1.5 feet wide that goes all the way across. So you're looking up there and seeing 3 different things, and the ball bounces differently off all 3.
And the fourth thing you see is people standing up there.
Yes. And it's hard to avoid eye contact with them. That's how close they are looking down on you.
It's a great shot there from Chavez.
8-14.
Yeah, this camera seems high off that back wall, but it's really not. You almost can jump up and high five.
Over ball.
Your fans.
Over? 8-14 again. Short. Second serve. Point.
Another good shot there from Marco Chavez, now at 9-14. Our referee is Luis Cordova. Had a great game number 2 against Killian Carroll. I say great because it's rare that a player can score double digits against Killian Carroll, but Cordova was tied at 12 at one point there. And then Killian went on to score 3 points to win that match, the first one that we had this morning. Killian will be in the semifinal once again. In fact, he's been there every stop this season.
6 straight.
6 straight finals appearances.
That's right.
And one of the only guys in the whole tournament that can beat him got beat last night in the round of 16, Sean Lenning. That was the wrong wording there. When I said can beat him, I meant to say
time in.
One of the only guys that has beat him.
14.
I mean, everyone can beat him.
Right. Last year, Dave, when these two matched up in the round of 16, it was Marcos Chavez with game point in both games, 14-12, in fact, in both games, and lost both of those games.
Wow.
So now Marcos trying to turn the tables on Vic. Vic had a huge lead, 14-5.
Now I believe it's 10-14.
And we had that sort of weird thing where there were shorts and change of balls and behind the back flips, and all of a sudden now Marcos, I'd say a couple points from maybe taking control, but now Vic is back in that 95% range, Dave. That means he has a 95% probability of winning this game at this minute, up 14-10. It's taking all the math into
What'd you say?
The equation.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Okay, I get it. 14 serves 10. That out.
Vic played that a little too safe, that rally, Dave.
Well, he went to the roof thinking he was making the right shot there, but he just hit it too hard.
14.
How fast are these courts?
I think slow. I think you're seeing more balls played to the ceiling, and I think you're seeing less aces than you normally do because these courts are so slow. They're not only slow, but it's cold. So the ball's not flying as much as it would, you know, at a place like Houston where the courts were so hot. Killian Carroll, Dave, just one ace today. We saw in Las Vegas, Killian Carroll in one match, one 2-game match, had 17 aces. 17. Now I'm talking about balls that his opponent didn't get their hand on before they bounced twice.
Well, he had a few yesterday in the round of 16 against Steve Cooney. Very entertaining match.
Not many, though, against
No,
Cooney.
not many, but it was
right
at the right times.
Yeah.
He did it.
But not the number that you'd expect. Nice get from Vic.
This should be a really hard rally here. Vic needs this point. And there it is. Vic takes game number 1, I believe.
You guys got 3 minutes.
Yep, and 4 minutes will be the break time. We're also going to take one here in the booth. We'll be back after this replay.
Oh, my.
As Marcos just...
That was terrible.
I don't know what he was thinking there, but it seemed like he was wanting that ball to get there a little too quicker than it really did. Dave, we'll take a quick break. We'll be back in about 3.5 minutes here as the live broadcast WPH Race 4-8 continues, courtesy of the World Players of Handball.
Marco serves.
What's most astounding, Dave, is our referee is standing up there in a soaking wet shirt, and it's 50 degrees.
Yeah, that's...
And he's standing right underneath the air vent.
0 serve 0.
That's blowing frigid air.
Short. Second serve.
Now, Dave, Marcos is very expressive, and he's letting you know that he's trying to get in your head. But is Vic doing it in a quiet way? Is he doing that on purpose to?
I mean, I don't know because I didn't. I only saw that one thing. See, here's what I'm talking about: throwing the ball around, and he threw it to the front wall, and you know, I think this is what Marcos is saying. Like, hey, I'm back here waiting. Why is the referee waiting for this guy to bounce this ball and throw it to himself? And
even so, if he does call the score, he still has another 10 seconds.
Right.
Which feels like an eternity. Imagine if a server is ready to serve and the referee calls it and he takes all 10 seconds. That would feel like an hour.
No, that would be annoying.
Yeah.
See, I never really noticed it much except for that one play where the ball was up here and Vic took his time getting that ball. But
1-0.
Vic was, you know, does this thing where he bounces it and throws it, and sometimes it dribbles off his foot, that sort of thing.
Point.
That's a nice shot from Perez.
Well, Vic yesterday, Dave, tied his shoes 5 times in a match.
That was interesting.
With the gloves off.
Point.
And there's another example of Marcos moving forward. But, Dave, we haven't seen the likes of that since Dr. Samantha England.
Yeah, and I made that reference when it happened last night when I was up in the gallery, and not one of the millennials understood what I was talking about. And I was talking to a Canadian. He thought, well, I'm trying to keep it topical. It didn't quite work.
Yeah.
Oh, that's that shot that it seems that comes out of the Los Angeles Athletic Club. You see how Marcos is really in the back court for most of these rallies. You don't see him up front at all. I don't think a player can win from back there.
Point.
Nice scoop kill there from Marcos, who used an open hand that time instead of a fist.
He has really soft hands up front. You didn't know where that was going to go, did you?
I thought maybe you were going to start talking about the moisturizers that he uses.
It sounded like it.
Yeah.
It scared me while I was saying it, in fact. And that's a nice shot there from Marcos, who, again, soft hands, left hand
it's all
to
about
the front
the soft
right.
hands.
Well, you have to have soft hands to do that shot.
3 serves 3.
He proved to us with that fist shot that it's just not working.
Right.
2 to 3 here. That could have been a screen. Should have been a screen.
I don't think so.
Well, it hopped away, but I'm telling you, you're returning that serve, you can't see it.
4-3. Point.
And now all of a sudden, Marcos, 4 straight rally enders, 3 kills with his left.
5-3.
Really re-kills, great shots.
Well, it's all because of the serve right here. He's flipping these balls over on that left side and forcing Vic to overhit his return. Looks like he's going to go in with a power serve and then does a underhand floater. Got a little too tricky there, I think.
3 serves 5.
Nice run there for him, though. Picking up where he left off in game 1, where he trailed 14-5, scored 5 points in a row. And then he just scored 4 in a row. Take the lead here. And that's a, well, Marcos said it, Dave.
Yeah, you didn't.
Horrible. 4 serves 5. Short. Second serve. Point.
See, here's that ball trickling to the front. Vic taking his time to get up there.
What do you want him to do, sprint?
5 serves 5.
I don't. Well, you see, now the referee calls it before he's even ready.
That was fine. Now he still has 10 seconds.
But you see, he made a difference there from before. I guess arguing in that middle of first, second game works.
Wow. Marcos needs to cut down on these errors.
6 serves 5. Short. Check it. Second serve.
Marco Chavez's favorite athlete, Kobe Bryant, Dave.
Oh, yeah.
Point.
And another air there from Marcos.
Seven serves 5. Set out.
Vic hit a crack. Marcos is able to flip it up front, gets the side out. Nothing worse than having a great serve
5-7.
and your opponent just sticks their hand out and gets a side out. That should never happen, but often does.
Skinny V pass there for Vic Perez. Nice high percentage shot.
Seven serves 5.
Vic Perez, 29 years old, Dave. 15 years younger than Marco Chavez.
Second serve.
Big Dodgers fan is Vic Perez. Favorite player, Clayton Kershaw.
Well, I don't blame him for picking Clayton.
Wow, what a shot there from Marcos. Vintage Marco Chavez, Dave. Handball fans have been
5-7.
enjoying that shot for 25 years now on the Pro Tour.
There it is.
Amazing.
6-7. Point. 7-7.
And there's another one of those errors, Dave. And Dave, what has happened here in the last couple of events? This is not just today. Marco's making these strange bottom of the hand errors off of his right consistently.
Yeah, just not focused, I don't think.
7 serve 7.
Maybe too focused. You know, Dave, when you get older, there's actually more pressure.
Thank you. Point.
Called a wrist shot.
Yeah, that's the same as, you know, a bottom of the hand air. But you're thinking to yourself, how many more opportunities do I have? And then that builds the pressure. I think when you're young coming up, the pressure is playing against these guys that you've looked up to. How can I beat these guys that I've been watching that are so good?
8 serve 7.
And then as you get older, you're thinking the opposite.
Well, it's sort of like he got here with nothing to lose. Then he gets here and he has a lot to lose, so you change your philosophy.
But
That's
doesn't everyone have
shot.
the same amount to lose in every match?
Probably, but in your mind,
short.
He's like, well, you know, I'm 43, 44 years old.
Second serve.
I shouldn't be here, so this is fun, and, you know, well, let's see how far I can go. And now that he got into the top 8, last couple stops, changes things. Your whole perspective, maybe your training habits might even change.
Nice shot there from Marcos, who just turns that wrist over. Soft reverse re-kill.
8 serves 8.
This is pretty much what we expected in this match. Very close. The first game wasn't.
Point.
And Dave, I think just about anybody in the building could have made that shot. Vic Perez skips it from 25 feet.
Yeah, that I thought Vic would have called a timeout after that.
You would have thrown away your handball bag.
Slide.
If you hit a shot like that.
That was a bad bounce. No, I would have actually, let me think what I would have done. I definitely would have called a timeout.
But is calling a timeout a good thing? Now you're going to spend a minute thinking about this terrible shot you just hit?
9
Wouldn't you rather
8.
just get on with it?
No, I said I would do it just to go order food.
Okay.
So for me, I knew I would probably be hungry about 8 to 9.
Timeout, scores 10 serves 8.
That's something I wanted to talk to you about, the smell of handball players. It's unmistakable. I've never been around a sport where this odor was anything like a handball player's. Now, is that just don't know how to take care of your fabrics, or is that something the handball players don't know how to do? Or
I don't think they use fabric softener.
Well, I think, you know, if you play a whole tournament and stuff all your clothes into a bag and, you know,
then zip it shut for 2 weeks, and then when you play again, you open it up, but it has to be right where I'm sitting. It's part of that 4D experience.
Oh, and another
Vic,
error from Vic.
That's 3 bad errors from Vic in 3 consecutive rallies.
Yeah.
11 serves 8.
And now 11 to 8.
The wheels were coming off a little bit for Marcos before that.
Cut out.
That's a great kill from the deep court there for Vic Perez. Let's see if he can put something together.
8 serves 11.
What a shot.
That was a good shot.
11 serves 8.
It's almost like Marcos needed to be mad at something going into this second game, and he came out and yelled at the ref. He wants an avoidable hinder here. They don't call avoidable hinders in handball.
But Marcos wants, every time he goes to the right, he thinks it's an avoidable. His guy is completely to the right. He's not even shading him.
He was way over there.
Way over there.
I think if you saw a replay, Dave, you'd probably see what Marcos was saying. But Marcos needs to have something to be upset with. I mean, he's admitted it, that he can't get up for certain matches, and this is one I can see why he wouldn't be up for it, because it's his roommate. It's hard to play against these guys. Not for you. You like to pretty much put zeros on.
No, I get zeros. That's my new thing.
Your friends.
No, my new thing is getting zeros.
Oh, okay.
I like it.
12 serves 8.
Oh, that's a terrible.
That would have put him at 13-8, 2 points from forcing a third game. So let's see what kind of impact that has.
Point.
Oh, and it's a unforced error on the return of serve from Marcos.
9-12. Point.
There's a nice underhand dump kill from Vic.
10 serves 12.
Dave, remember that error Marcos made at 12-8. Simple shot. And he made another error on the return of serve. Now it's Vic serving at 10-12.
Point.
Make that 11-12 as Marcos just a little slow to cover that down the line shot. Now it's a timeout for Marcos Chavez.
All right, time in. You serve, Vic. Scores 11, serves 12.
Strange shot there from Vic, who I think was going to the roof and just completely missed it.
12 serves 11.
Marcos converts that left-handed kill. That was a long timeout, Dave.
Point.
Oh, Marcos needed that.
Marcos wins 2 quick rallies, one of those being points. Now just 2 points from forcing a third game. Oh, and Vic did not give Marcos much room there, and if Marcos loses this rally, you'll see him say something. Yep, there it is.
Yeah, he was right in front of you.
And our referee agrees.
He was in front of you in that shot, but yeah, you got to move out of the way, Vic. After you make your shot, you can't just stand.
Oh, I don't know about, I don't know about that. I don't know. That's a.
In that case, if you would have went for that shot, I would have given you an avoidable. He was in front of you.
This is getting worse.
It's a tough spot for the ref right there.
It is?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, it wasn't even a screen.
Yeah, but
no, it's either an avoidable or nothing.
Like
it's one of those all or nothing calls. Right. It's not the kind of play you can give a hinder on.
11, serves 13.
And Vic with sort of an off-balance, reaching, lunging, 2-inch high kill when he needed it.
12 serves 13. Thank you. Shut up. Thirteen serves 12.
Vic finds that left corner there. Marcos leaves the ball hanging in the worst spot if you're playing Vic, which is just left of center, where Vic can run around, use his right, and just drill the ball into the left corner. That time he went front wall, side wall.
13. Short. Second serve.
Oof. Well, it looked like Marcos is trying to initiate contact there with Vic on that backswing.
30-second timeout.
Marcos hitting a flat roll there to win that last rally.
It felt like he was trying to get Vic out of position. It goes for that wide right corner kill, actually kind of threading the needle to do so, and then it mouses off the front wall.
All right.
Makes the highlight reel.
13 serves 12.
13 to 12. Marcos 2 points away from forcing a tiebreaker.
And that was definitely not a screen. Definitely not a screen. That's the first call we've seen Vic ask for.
Well, it wasn't a screen from that camera angle.
I didn't think it was a screen. I saw where Vic was.
What are we waiting for here?
I think Vic might be still talking about this previous call.
All right. Game point, serves 12.
A lot of talking back and forth here.
Short.
Marcos going with a big bender here, but misses it at the foot fault line. Big setup, though.
Oh, my.
And there it is.
Both games ended with just terrible right-hand airs, and now we're going to a third, Dave.
And we're going to take a timeout. So we'll be back right around the corner. 4 minutes, and we'll go into this tiebreaker between Marcos Chavez and Vic Perez. For Dave Fink, my name is Dave Vincent. Stick around. We'll have more continued action from the World Players of Handball on WPHlive.tv. We are back here for game number 3 as Marcos Chavez forces the tiebreaker, losing the first one 15-10, but comes back and wins 15-12.
All right. Score 0, serve 0.
Marcos playing very close there on that back wall shot. Came into the booth day between games complaining about how close Vic was playing.
Well, Marcos, when he complains about what his opponent is doing, it's really a microcosm of what he does.
But he complained about Vic complaining about a call, which is the first time Vic's ever done that. So, yes.
See Marcos trying to get up near that dotted line after every single play. Look, he's walking up there. Now walk back up to that dotted line.
Yeah.
I don't.
Longest rally of the match, won by Vic Perez in the first point of this third and final game. 24 shots, Dave, and it ends with this beauty. Bang.
1-0. Short.
Well, there was only a couple times during that whole rally that there was an opportunity for a kill shot. Vic took it and got it.
Second serve. About.
I like that little sort of modified flick that Marcos does.
0 serves 1.
It's a sidearm shot, but it's not a full swing.
Both guys converting their right-hand kill shot opportunities. 2 for 2 for Marcos in this game. Vic 1 for 1. And now looks like Vic might be tying his shoes. This should be called a timeout.
All right.
Well, Marcos was annoyed by the fact that Vic was
1 serves 1.
tying his shoes, but now he's turned it into a comedy routine. 1-1.
Point.
And you need those little cracks and a little bit of luck every now and then.
2 serves 1. Without.
I want to thank Merv Deckert, the great Merv, for watching this live broadcast today.
1 serves 2.
He's either the best or the second best player to ever play out of Canada.
We had the Canadian National Championship yesterday in conjunction with the 17th place playoff. The 4 best Canadians were entered, and they all ended up playing each other. Jerome Santerre, Ryan Bowler, Michael Galton, Kevin Kopchuk were all entered. Those that were not eliminated by Katrina Casey ended up playing one another in the final for the Canadian Championship, which was won by, of course, Ryan Bowler. Second time in a row, winning 17th place. So he is your Canadian national champion. Now, Dave, when they have the Canadian Nationals in May, it's a great event. I mean, I know you love it. You've been there and you enjoy yourself, but you're going to have names like Killian Carroll, Dermot Nash there, maybe Daniel Cordova. So you're not going to recognize the best Canadian when you have those guys there. So we actually did recognize the best Canadian yesterday. Just wish you were more interested in it.
1 serve 2.
I filmed it, and I just didn't interrupt you. I wanted you to get all that out there.
I was prying for openings, and I didn't get anything.
I like how you worded the same thing 3 different ways.
Well, I was trying 3 different ways to get a reaction.
I know. I was letting you struggle your way through that third one. I was hoping you'd go four times. Didn't happen.
That's Marcos' second missed pre-dive re-kill attempt in this game.
I think that ball was gettable. He was just way too late getting up there.
1 serves 2.
1-2, score going to 15, win by 2. This is the quarterfinals, and that ball almost skipped in on the serve.
Second serve.
Would have been a strike in bowling. That's how low it was. Oh, that was a laser. We saw a lot of that yesterday as Marcos whipped up on Eric Torres in that round of 16.
Marcos playing very good ball right now, and Vic takes what I thought was a pretty tough serve and turns it around for a winner.
See, this is what Marcos doesn't like here. Vic walks up to the front after every play and just waits for the ball. And
1 serves 2.
Marcos should put this away. Marcos puts just enough wrinkle on that ball that it flips away from Vic Perez deep.
Get the sense that Marcos is just in control right now. Of course, as I said that, you see an error.
He punched a fist really quick, and the ball hit the ground first, skips in. 1-2. He's been stuck on the score for a while.
Vic is not letting the ball drop at all, and he's not taking full swings on a lot of these mid-court kill shot attempts. That time he did, but he was off balance.
2 serves 1. Point.
Boy, Marcos just punches that ball right back where it came from. Gets the point.
3 serves 1.
3-1 score, going to 15 here in the tiebreaker. You see Marcos playing now above that dotted line a lot more.
I hint that you're trying to get credit for something. Is that why you keep saying it?
No, just pointing out what I'm seeing.
Okay. Sounds like you might be involved in some way, just in the delivery.
It might sound like that, but I'm just saying that it's a little obvious that he's hanging out.
No, I've heard that. I have heard that.
Felt like there in game number 1 and 2, he was out of the picture most of the time.
But then what happened? Did something happen between games 2 and 3
well,
that would have changed his strategy?
You know, he may have came over to the broadcast booth and asked you some advice, and I may have interrupted and given some advice.
Okay.
Though I am impartial because I'm a reporter, and reporters don't try to change the outcome of the reality of life.
Score is 5 serves 1. Short.
No warm-ups for Marcos in that bad ankle either.
Second serve.
He just goes in with a power serve immediately.
Now, Dave, if you're Vic, do you put Marcos to the test here, see how much he can actually move on that ankle?
Hold it. Five, 1. Point. Okay. That's the last ball I have. Oh, never mind. Did Mondo give you that? That's a good one. All right, replay. Five serves 1. Point.
And Vic with a terrible error there. Now Marcos starting to run away with this match. You can see his body language.
Point. I saw it good. He appeals, I saw it good. One agrees, they both agree. Point.
And the call stands an ace for Marcos. Now leads 7-1 here in this tiebreaker. Going to 15. Make that 8-1, and Marcos feeling it now, Dave. And that is bad news for any Chavez opponent.
8-1. Out. Hey, Marcos, can you get that right there? There's a, I don't know what that is.
Vic does not seem to have his feet under him right now, Dave. Just a little bit off balance, even on big setups. He did make that last one, But you see he was off his feet, not getting that power into his shots or control without the balance.
Score is 1, serves 8.
Vic's got to start making something happen here.
Oh.
And that's not a good start for Perez. Marcos Chavez leading 3-0 since he sprained his ankle.
Hold it. Eight, 1. Well. One serves 8.
I want to thank Anthony Celesto for watching this live broadcast. Broke his tibia, not just a break, but a fracture. A fracture that went through the bone, and it looks pretty gross.
You're talking about the throb.
Yeah, he had a backhoe flipped over when he was doing some work at his day job. Now his night job is tearing up handballs at his family's facility that's built right into their home. But day job, a backhoe flipped over. The machine flipped over, landed on his leg, and snapped his leg.
Oh
and
my gosh!
Bone came out.
Oh
and
no!
We're talking about major surgery here.
Screen.
Oh, poor
He's
guy.
just watching the broadcast with an elevated.
So he is racing.
Yeah, he is. He's doing what you're supposed to do right now.
3
Not like
serves,
me,
8.
but he's doing it right. Yeah, no, he's had the worst luck over the last couple of years.
I mean, literally the worst luck. One of the fittest guys, and yet always these terrible injuries. And this one sounds like it's the worst of all, Dave. I know he's had 2 knee surgeries, some back problems, shoulder surgery, now a broken leg.
This is a great rally here. Don't forget some of those mental issues. Oh, and he misses that shot. Figured if we're going to give you the list of everything.
4 serves 8.
And I thought that was heartthrob time, and all of a sudden, you know, you cut me off.
Short.
I cut you off so I can set myself up for a joke. Sorry.
Second serve.
Vic's starting to score some points here. Marcos is making his way up to that dotted line.
Still don't know what has changed between games 2 and 3, why he's up there. Because before I wasn't even seeing him.
All right.
I got messages, in fact, from some of his fans, where's our guy? He's not getting any airtime. Now all of a sudden he's getting nothing but airtime. He's the ruler of the airwaves in game 3. And something must have changed. I just don't know what it was.
We'll let you find out when he says it.
Okay.
Point. Five serves 8.
Big setup here for Vic, and he puts it in the floor. Terrible air there from
that was
Vic
horrible.
Perez. Just inexcusable.
Hold it. Slid.
I'm surprised there could be any
Check the ball.
moisture on the floors or the walls, being that the court is at 52 degrees.
8-5.
No wonder the Irish do so well in these courts, Dave. It's almost as cold here as it is in their courts. Should be a fly kill.
Well, that ball jumped out, though.
Out.
Doesn't matter.
No.
Vic put it away.
Five serves 8.
Marcos was starting to run away with this one, up 8-1. And now Vic has scored 4 straight unanswered points. that 5 in a row now. 6-8 is a score in game number 3. Winner will advance to the semis. And as you said earlier, first semi appearance for either of these guys, so we'll have something new here.
This season.
Yeah, this season. Something new this season will happen.
Marcos Chavez, 26 wins, 41 losses in his race for 8 career. Vic Perez, 33 wins, 48 losses.
And believe it or not, that's actually pretty good. It doesn't sound like it's good, but it is. That'll get you right about ranked about 8th.
Yeah.
Those type of numbers.
Scores 8, serve 6.
8-6 score here.
Tricky shot here for Vic, and he completely misplays it.
6 serves 8. I'm sorry. 9 serves 6.
Strange play there. Vic right up against the front wall. Just couldn't do anything. Maybe should have let it hit the front wall again.
I see that these guys sometimes don't know what to do when they get up front. It's not something you can practice.
There's a nice swing from Vic, who does have his feet set there and breaks over the top of that nicely. And now we're going to have a 2-minute glove change. Marcos Chavez spent most of that 2-minute glove change right here in the booth, Dave. Looking for more advice. I don't know why he needs advice, though. He's leading 9-6. He won the second game. I mean, just keep doing what you're doing, right?
Well, what was the advice given to him? I know that we can't give advice to the players,
right,
but I know that you overheard it. Something about Vic being off balance.
Point.
Yeah, I did hear a member of Marcos's team mentioning that Vic was off balance and wasn't really able to make too many good shots being off balance, but
that last one was off balance, and he hit a nice
I felt like it wasn't, though.
Okay.
He planted off his back foot and pushed himself into the shot. He was not off his feet. He wasn't falling backwards.
Second serve.
Big setup here for Vic. And Vic finds that crotch. Not a really good shot, Dave, because he missed where he was aiming by quite a bit, but it pinches that front wall, side wall, and just comes out at about a 45-degree angle and dies right in front of Marcos. Good serve from Vic. And that's just the worst feeling, Dave, when you have that big setup with your strong hand. Marco's going into that left corner with his right hand from 10 feet away, and he leaves it way up. Ball pops up off the right side wall, and there's Vic for just an easy 2-wall pass put away.
Yeah, that's one that you circle on the scorecard. Marcos could have done a strong 2-wall pass or a skinny pass.
Not from that. That's the shot you have to hit from there. You just have to make it. It's one of those situations where you only have one shot and you have to make it. And for some reason, that ball comes off your hand and it just doesn't stay down.
That's good. Here. All right. 9 serves 9.
We're all together at 9 as Vic has made a nice comeback here. He's on an 8-1 run at the moment.
And I think a lot of it has to do with Marcos being indecisive. He comes out here during a timeout and he's looking for advice when he's leading. Now, Vic, Dave, you might call that off balance, but I call that the open stance strong arm kill.
You're saying because he planted that one foot?
Yes, he plants off that right foot and pushes into it.
9.
That's new school handball, Dave.
Point.
And now all of a sudden, Vic Perez turning it up, and Marcos with no answers, at least here in these last
11 serves 9.
10 minutes. 10 straight points now, Dave?
Yep.
Wow.
Well, it was interrupted by 1.
Okay.
Marcos did score 1. He was at 8. As you recall, 8-1 was the score.
Now, Dave, more than likely, since we go strictly by the rankings in Salt Lake City, these two will probably be playing in the round of 16, being the 8 and 9 seeds.
That's right.
So it very well could see a rematch, but one of them will have to play in the qualifier and the other won't.
I like that. You see a little bit more zest here from the 44-year-old.
Good shot there from Vic. And that's not one of Vic's strong shots, is that left hand of the left corner from the dotted line. He went for it and the ball hung up. Very easy put away for Marcos, who takes advantage.
You have 1 timeout and a half. 30-second timeout.
And Dave, I believe the score is tied now at 11.
Yeah, I believe so.
Wow, what a match. Not good for your broadcast schedule, but this is everything we could have hoped it would be. Coming right down to the wire, hopefully overtime.
10 seconds.
Yeah, this one kicked off just after 9:45 a.m. and we're at 11:30 Eastern.
Score is 11, serves 11.
This has been very long.
Yeah.
As you remember, Killing Carroll's match ended at about 9:35.
Right.
And there was a 10-minute wait there. So this one kicked off pretty much on time. And we're about, I don't know, 14 minutes or so away from a 2-hour match that only plays to 15. A lot of side outs, timeouts, arguing, and injury timeouts.
We've had the whole gamut of timeouts. Marcos runs right across that shot.
I saw that.
Okay.
Didn't like it.
Yeah. Oh, and Vic stays with that one. Not an easy shot there, Dave, as that ball was squirrely up there in the front of the court. Let's see if we can get a good look at it here. And we will, and Vic.
11 serves 11.
Yeah, that's a good shot.
Good shot at a big moment there.
11-11 going to 15, and that ball's called short. Win by 2.
Second serve. Set out.
Vic's just trying to get himself into a rally with that lob second serve, and he doesn't. Marcos with a return of serve kill.
Point.
First strike handball from Marcos. Great first serve. Straight down the right wall, gives him the setup. And now Marcos was in a rhythm. We'll see how much that bothers him, Dave, bouncing the ball away from himself. We've seen Marcos make a lot of great shots with his left, Dave. That time he runs himself into the left wall to use his right and makes the air.
Head up. 12 serves 11.
And another air there from Marcos. That's one of his favorite shots, Dave, is now you see Vic kicking the ball around. He's going to walk all the way to the front wall very, very slowly.
We know that Marcos doesn't like that at all. 11-12 now.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe it, Dave. Marcos with the easiest shot in handball. Vic's on the ground to his right. Marcos, all he has to do is hit the ball to the left, Dave, and he hits it in the ground. Second consecutive right-hand air for Marcos Chavez. I mean, Dave, that one was really hard to understand, that air.
We're all together at 12.
Marcos is going to rewatch this match and just kick himself for all these unforced errors.
Score is 12, serves 12.
I think he's kicking himself right now for him.
Slide.
Oh.
Slide,
Ooh.
Yeah, that's tough.
That's real tough.
That would have been tough without the slide.
Right. That's why it's so hard to make that call, because you know as a ref that's going to be a hard shot to return regardless. It was one of those that was 1 inch from being ungettable.
12 serves 12.
Now remember, here in the tiebreaker, you have to, and not just the tiebreaker, but you have to win by 2. And the way that this match is going, we're going to see overtime.
3 straight airs now for Marcos Chavez, not including that replay on this slide.
13 serves 12.
2 with the right, 1 with the left.
Vic Perez is on a
short
12-4 run here in the tiebreaker.
Peels, I call it short. Both agree.
You go on a 12-4 run, you're pretty much winning that game. See if Marcos can change those odds.
Out.
Nice shot there from Marcos, who puts an end to that unforced air streak, and now will be serving 3 points from taking this
13.
match.
Point.
There's 1.
13-13.
This basically is overtime now, Dave.
Oh, yep.
Cut out.
And now Vic's going to take a stroll here.
This is what Marcos doesn't like here.
Thirteen serves 13. Short.
And Vic has really struggled to win points with his second serve, Dave. He's lost 10 of 11 rallies in this third game on his second serve. He's not switching it up. And there's another
timeout. Last timeout, scores 13 serves 13.
Point loss for Vic Perez on that second serve.
An hour and 10 minutes or so off of that schedule, which is fine. This a little bit more relaxed schedule here. We're just
I know how relaxed you are.
I love it.
Yeah. Well, you're a laid back kind of guy.
13,
so it works out well for
13.
you.
Not too intense or
yeah.
Fidgety.
Marcos gets it now at match point.
Match point serves 13.
This is the whole season comes down to this point. Goes for the crack, deep, misses it.
Oh, and Vic played it so safe there, Dave, and Marcos makes that air. Same shot we've talked about that he struggled with for the last 3 or 4 tournaments.
13 serves 14.
And Vic with a beautiful left there. Now we are officially in overtime, 2. Dave.
You saw Chavez streaking to that back wall there. I thought perhaps he dove for it, just out of our camera angle. Couldn't see if he did or not. But that's a guy who earlier took an injury timeout because of a bad left ankle that he turned right in the middle of the rally.
I presume, Dave, this is a timeout from Marcos Chavez?
I believe so.
Okay.
$14 to 14. And you said these guys were so evenly matched when we first started this match. Let's see what happens here.
Short.
No, I think they've proven that they are, in fact, very evenly matched. 15-12 tiebreaker when they played in Atlanta, first stop of the season. Now here we are deadlocked at 14 in the tiebreaker 6 stops later.
Oh no. Now it's match point here for Vic Perez. Marcos had an open
Just looked like he tried to guide that one, Dave.
Match point serves 14. Short.
And remember, Marcos was actually serving for match point himself earlier.
We saw Mondo come back from match point down yesterday. It's only happened 9 times in the history of the tour. So if Vic wins this, he'll be just the 10th in more than 1,000 matches to face match point and win.
Set up.
That ball hit a crack on a terrible return, really, from Marcos, which he overhit.
14 serves 15.
Marcos doesn't need just 1 point. He needs a couple of them. That's a great shot right there from Marcos. Goes with the left hand, hits that perfect kill shot up front. Vic dives in, calls 2 bounces immediately on himself. That was a tough shot with the offhand from Marcos, who threads the needle, gets that 1-inch high kill shot.
But sometimes you just feel it.
Well, as you said earlier, you know, that's just the only play you have in that position. I feel like you can pull it maybe to the right side and go with the 2-all pass, but Vic is standing back there.
Yeah.
And it really would put you out of position if you hit that shot. Vic has to dive in, and he had his hand there, but he
15 serves 15.
Scooped it. We're all together at 15 here.
Short.
That was right.
Call it short. Both agree. Second serve.
Great shot there from Vic. Marcos just trying to keep the ball in the back court, almost baiting Vic to take a chance there, and Vic wasn't much of a chance, though. I mean, he's at the dotted line with the ball off the back wall with his right hand. That's pretty much
Scores 15, serves 15.
Automatic for Vic Perez.
Scores 15, serves 15.
Both these guys have had match point.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Marcos was in the perfect spot to play that. He was right there if that ball clips the corner, which it should have. And somehow, Dave, that comes straight.
16, serves 15.
Unbelievable. That's one of those rounded corner shots.
Match point again for Vic Perez. He gets his first serve over. Backhanded flip from Marcos.
This could be it right here. Little congestion, no call from the ref.
Out.
Boy, that could have been played over.
I don't think so.
A little bit of contact back there.
Vic just completely shanks a left-handed kill shot attempt there. Marcos has now held off 2 match points from Vic.
Out.
And a side out like that, and
Terrible
that was a flat
serve.
roll. This one could be all over. right here on this serve.
Could be.
Check the ball.
Based on what we've seen in this third game, Dave, Vic will need to get his first serve
15.
in because he's had almost no success winning rallies with his second serve.
Screen.
What does your advanced analytics say
Well,
about
I still consider this a first serve. He's not worried about
16 serves 15.
a second consecutive screen, although we did see that happen yesterday. Vic should try and sneak one down the right here, but he won't.
This could be. Boy, Marcos just barely makes that front wall.
Hold it.
No argument from either player there.
Nothing to argue about.
Well, I think it helped that Vic kept going for it after the call and got his hand on it. Marcos had really no way to dispute that call.
16 serves 15. Match.
And he gets
There it is. Vic Perez takes down Marcos Chavez, advances to the semifinals here, and a lot of hugging.
A lot of respect there from both guys, and what a match that was, Dave. I mean, back and forth so many times, both guys holding match point, 2 hours and 5 minutes into this battle.
A final score there in the tiebreaker, 17-15 as it went into overtime. That's one of our longer ones.
That's an all-time classic.
Yeah, I mean,
and when you think about, Dave, what was at stake and how it played out, I mean, this really was, with everything on the line, one of the all-time great matches.